welcome to another video. So, as you all know, I have been on my fair share of cruises, and along the way I have started to develop some likes, some dislikes, some favourites and some not so favourite things about the cruise life. Now that could be from itinerary to food to entertainment to the ship as a whole. So I thought, why not put this all in a video and talk about my likes and my dislikes. And this will be just purely based off of my opinion, my experience from the cruises that I've been on over the years. These likes and dislikes could be completely different for someone else who's been on a cruise, based again off of their experience compared to mine. But let's get to it. So I'm going to start off with some things that I like about cruising. Always start with the positive. Number one is the itinerary. So when you book a land holiday, you're essentially paying for one destination, staying in this one area for the whole week or 2 weeks or however long you plan on staying for. Now when you book a cruise, you're not only visiting more than one destination, you're visiting so many places and seeing so many things within a short amount of time. I absolutely love the itinerary on a cruise because you can visit so many different countries within, you know, 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, however long you want to go for, and you can literally put so much stuff into that space of time. For example, we went on a Baltic cruise a couple of years ago and we went to 7 different countries in 2 weeks. 7. And with cruising, there are so many different itineraries you can book, so many destinations. You can do a Caribbean, a Baltic, a Norway, a Mexican, anything like that. You can do an Alaskan one. Like, they are literally, like, the list just goes on. And different cruise lines do different itineraries. They do sort of itineraries that they're known for. For example, Cunard are most known for their transatlantic cruising, so essentially they'd go from Southampton to New York and vice versa. Other cruise lines like Disney would do a lot of Caribbean because they've got their own special island. Similarly to Royal Caribbean, they've also got their own island. So the different cruise lines will do different itineraries, and it's not all the same either within the same cruise brand. So you could be on a specific cruise line and your friends could be on the same cruise line but cruising a week later, and you're going to, say, the fjords. You could go to 4 ports and they could go to 4 different ports. The itineraries are so varied, and that's what I love. So my second favourite thing, or my second like about cruising, is the embarkation port. So many cruise lines, similarly to the itinerary, have different embarkation ports. So you can sail from Southampton, you can sail from Tilbury, you can sail from Dover, you can sail from Liverpool, and that's just within the UK. And this is why I think it's great for people that don't necessarily like flying. So if you live in the UK and you're cruising from Southampton, you just need to get down to Southampton wherever you're from. You can either do that on the day if you're fairly close, or you can even come down the night before and stay in a hotel in Southampton because there's so many. And then you just get on the ship the next day or the same day whenever you arrive, and your holiday starts there. And there's no like airport check-in hassle. The check-in process on embarkation day is the best thing ever. It takes like 5 minutes. And the same goes for like non-UK guests. There will be, you know, there will be embarkation in Rome, Barcelona, loads of places in the US if you're American. There are so many places that you can embark if you're within that area. I also think that due to the airport issues at the moment, you know, like security, flights being cancelled, things like that, that are ruining people's holidays, people are, I think, booking cruises because you don't have that worry, you don't have that hassle. So if you don't like flying, why not book a cruise instead? So my next favourite thing about cruising is the service that you get on board. So every cruise that I've been on, the service has been second to none. I think I've mentioned this in a previous vlog and even previous vlogs like years ago that I've done about cruises, but every single person on there cannot do enough for you. They are outstanding. And again, I know that this obviously is different based on different cruise lines because they have their different training procedures, their different sort of schedules of how they train their staff. For example, I know that Cunard have their White Star service training, which is very, very well known within the Cunard brand, and I know that other companies will have something very, very similar to train their staff to give the service reflective of that brand. And I don't know about you, but we're the type of family to always make friends with the staff that are serving us, that are seeing us. We had a couple of years ago, we went on a P&O cruise and we ended up taking loads and loads of photos as per the package that we purchased. And the photographer, we always went back to the same photographer called Kyle, because he was amazing. He made it fun. He was sort of getting in photos with us. We were waiting for Carl all the time. He was just amazing. He was a lovely person to speak to, really, really nice, always very welcoming, always happy to take your photo. And we did a little appreciation message at the end to send to the captain, just to say he went the extra mile. That's definitely something I would suggest, actually, is if there is someone that really stands out to you that have been just absolutely amazing during your cruise, please mention it to somebody, even if it's after your cruise on like FIFO or social media, or sending in a letter to the company. It is really appreciated and the team will love it. Okay, and the next best thing about cruising, now this is probably going to be a deal breaker for the good part, is the food. The food on cruises are always amazing. The quality, the variety, literally amazing. Now, the best food that I have ever had on a cruise was on a Princess cruise, which was the Sapphire Princess. The food was amazing, even in something like the buffet, which you would just automatically assume that it's not as good quality as a sit-down restaurant, but it was really good quality. And it's not just your average, like, you know, your chips, your burgers, pasta, stuff like that. They really had a good variety to cater for a wide range of nationalities as well, which I absolutely love. And the cruise that we recently just went on, the P&O cruise, that club sandwich in room service was delightful. I would have that every day for like ever. It was so good. Now, the next thing I like is probably something that people don't realise, but you do get a lot for your money. Because people, I think, when they say you're going to book a cruise or when you're looking at cruises, you think that it is so expensive, but you are getting accommodation, full board, so you're getting all of your food, you're getting entertainment, and you're getting the itinerary. You're getting to go to these amazing ports. I think for what you're paying, you're getting everything included. You're only having to pay for maybe your drinks and your specialty restaurants, but I think you're definitely getting your money's worth. And as well, if you work it out by like a daily rate, you're probably paying not even £100 per night, which again I think is amazing for a cruise. So if there's anyone out there sitting there thinking, no, cruising is too expensive, absolutely. Think about going to like Spain or Portugal for a week, self-catering. You're having to then pay for everything else. You're literally just flights and accommodation, right? Yeah, with a cruise, everything's included. So that's everything that I love about cruising. There are other little things which I have mentioned in a previous video. For example, luggage. Where if you're sailing from Southampton and you live in the area, you're not flying, there's no luggage allowance other than the weight capacity. Love that. Bring on anything you want. The entertainment is also, I want to mention, really good variety there, some really good shows, as well as daytime activities like karaoke, quizzes. You can do archery, golf, things like that. There are so many other things, but I just wanted to mention those two as well. Now I'm going to talk about things that I don't necessarily love about cruising, but it's nothing that I really, really hate. It's just mildly dislike or things that they can improve on. So the first one is the size of your cabin. Now, I think this is quite obvious, but on a cruise, you're gonna, as a business, as a cruise line, you're trying to get as many people on board. So therefore, you're going to try and put as many cabins on the ship as you can to get more money from people. I think the cabin size, I think, is something that I dislike. I think they should be bigger, and definitely the bathroom size. The bathroom is really, really small. If you're a really, really tall person, like 6'5", you're probably gonna have to collect that in the shower, because the shower is tiny, really, really tiny. Now, in terms of like space and storage space, there might be enough if there was 2 of you, or well, 1, but if there's any more than 2 people, you will be struggling, really, really struggling. I know that from experience. Obviously the cruise I just went on, there was 3 of us in the cabin, and we were struggling to fit all of our luggage, all of our clothes, all of our stuff away from sort of walking area. Obviously we don't want to like fall over it, but for 3 people, you're probably going to struggle a bit. So just bear that in mind if you're planning on booking a cruise and there's 3 or 4 of you in a cabin. You may, you know, it's going to be a bit difficult. You may be struggling with storage space. I don't like saying that, but it is a possibility. I mean, unless you book like a superior deluxe balcony or a suite or a mini suite. If it's like a standard cabin, like a standard balcony, sea view inside, that's probably where you'll struggle the most. Another thing that I sort of dislike is the time you can spend in the ports. Now, I mentioned earlier that you can go to so many ports during a cruise for the itinerary, but the slightly annoying thing is the actual time that you get to spend in a port is roughly between 9 and 5. So you can dock in a port at about 7 o'clock, but you have to, you know, the ship has to go through so many you know, technical and operational things before we're allowed to get off. So that could be 9 o'clock, even 10 o'clock sometimes, and then you have to be on board by 4:35, and then you'll sail away again at 6, ready to go to the next port. So for that time, I would say, I would recommend you plan and research beforehand so you know where you want to go, just so you can cram as much in that time frame as you can, so you don't really want to waste your time at the port walking around trying to find things to do. Or the best thing to do is book an excursion organised by the cruise line, because they can pack things in a whole day. Like, you can spend that whole day, 9 to 5, sitting on a bus going around some photo stops, some really popular landmarks, and you can see a lot of the port. So it's completely up to you what you prefer to do, but I would just be mindful that you probably won't spend 24 hours in the port, because I know some people think that when you're booking the cruise, but no, you're there for probably about 12 hours, probably not even that. So there's not many things I dislike about cruising, so this is going to be the last thing I'm going to mention that I, you know, dislike, not my favourite thing. But this is like the activity programme, the entertainment programme that's in your planner. I personally think it's quite repetitive. There's quite a lot of things that are happening every day, and this isn't just for one specific cruise line, this is for every cruise line I've done. It is quite repetitive. I will say it is varied in terms of age group. They definitely put activities there for all ages, but it gets repetitive in respect that, you know, you've done bowling 2 days in a row now. You can't keep doing that for another 12. I don't know how long you can bowl for. But we as a family, as mentioned so many times already, we love quizzes. Like, we are literally just, we're always at the quiz. So that's what we do most days, is just go to the quizzes, have a bit of fun, because we're very competitive as a family. So that is what we like to do. But if you're not really into games, quizzes, anything like that, I think you're a bit limited on what you can do, especially on a sea day. They do put more activities on the planner for sea days, because obviously everyone is on the ship, you can't get off. But yeah, when it comes to activities, it can get quite repetitive, you know, as the days go on. So they are my likes and dislikes of cruising. These may change, like, the more cruises I do, because I've got one booked in November to the Caribbean, so I'm absolutely buzzing for that. So you never know, this 2 week could completely change. Like, the activities could change, because it might change depending on itinerary. You never know. But this is where I am at the moment, with things I like and things I dislike, and I hope that has helped when you're maybe planning on booking a cruise, or if you have booked a cruise and you're maybe wanting more information on things like that, and, you know, things that are good to do, things that, you know, you need to maybe plan ahead. For example, again, the itinerary, knowing what there is in each port, it's definitely something good to do. But thank you for watching this video. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and again, keep leaving comments. I'm loving all of the comments on previous videos, so thank you for all the love, support, comments, and I'll see you in another video very soon.